everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Kaylie Edwards, joined by my amazing co-host Delores Naskrent, and today we're diving into an exciting topic, surface pattern design. This field is a perfect blend of creativity and business because it allows artists to apply their designs to real products, from fabric and wallpaper to stationery and home decor and so many other things. Delores, you've seen this field grow over your career. Why do you think surface pattern design is such an exciting space for artists?
Well, it's just so incredibly versatile. I think that's the main thing. Artists, like you said, can apply their designs to so many different things. Quilting fabric is kind of the one that stands foremost in my mind, but also upholstery or gift wrap, clothing, journals, wallpaper, you name it. I just have used it to back a line of cards that I've created. So the backside of the cards is repeat patterns that I've created. Cool. What I love the most about it is that it turns your product or your artwork into something really functional. A painting on a wall is beautiful, but a pattern on a cozy blanket or a trendy tote bag, I mean, it's lovely.
Who doesn't love them?
Exactly. Now that's art that people can carry, they can wear, and they can use every day. And for artists looking to make a living from their work, surface pattern design is one of the best ways to create income streams without relying on just original hand-done art.
Absolutely. You're not just selling an image, you're selling a usable design that people can integrate into their lives. So for someone new to surface pattern design, where should they start?
I think the first step is to do a lot of observation, understand how repeating patterns work. The two main types that I would say are like the most important ones to really learn about are basic tile repeats. So just like tiles you see on a wall, that one tile repeats and is copied, and it's kind of like a grid format. So it's often called a grid repeat as well. Then the next most popular one, probably more popular in a way, is the half drop repeat, because it creates a design that interlocks beautifully, but there's no real breaks in the pattern. The pattern repeats, but it's kind of at an angle, so it's really hard to see the repeat. And then all over repeats, or ditzy repeats, or sometimes called ditzy, are great filler patterns, great for any sort of, coordinate kind of a situation. And there are a ton more that I could tell you about. There's specialty patterns like scallops and diamond repeats and OG patterns, and a lot of them are based on historical patterns. So there's so much to learn.
Oh, what's his name? The traditional artist that does them with like the botanicals and things. Oh, and he did like really traditional. William Morris, that's his name. Yes. Yeah. I had him in my head and I couldn't think of yes, his patterns always come to mind when I hear about like the traditional patterns. I think they're just very cool. What tools do you recommend for creating patterns, Delores?
Well, there's lots of great options. I've tried all of them. Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop are probably what you'd consider the industry standards for professional surface designers. But that's not to say that you can't use other programs. And I personally love using Affinity Designer right now. I feel like I'm talking about this on every episode, but yeah. I like Affinity Designer because of the templates that I've created. So now I have created templates for every different type of repeat pattern. So for me to create a pattern, it goes really quickly when I can use my templates. And, those two programs, Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo, that are basically the same as Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, are fantastic because they're a budget-friendly alternative. And of course, they are a favorite in my courses. And I do have loads of templates available for free in my membership and for sale in my Shopify store. So I have the Template Club, which people get access to because of the membership. And every 15th of the month, I create another template that has instructions and the actual template they can download, and they can pop their own individual assets or drawings in and create an instant repeat pattern. Now, Procreate is another surprisingly powerful tool for pattern creation, especially for beginners. I even teach an automated repeat technique in my courses that helps users to create seamless patterns quickly. It's not the program I personally use for doing most of my repeat pattern work, but it is doable. To start, I would experiment with doing really quick little patterns like ditzy florals or stripes or polka dots or geometric shapes even, just anything that repeats. Just think of it as a puzzle. It's kind of fun to do. These always sell, and they help you to build confidence when you're developing your skills, and they're great to add to collections. So never take them for granted, because they're a wonderful way to create full collections, which is common when you're creating repeat patterns, to create them in collections.
Yeah. And if you just look around your house, you can get so much inspiration for patterns, because patterns are in so many different things. Like, I'm wearing pajama bottoms right now, and they are like the what they call plaid, the plaid pattern. It's the plaid pattern, the red and blue, well, the red and dark blue. And I look around, and I've got a pattern on my notebook, and I've got patterns everywhere.
Yep.
So you can find them everywhere, and you can get so much inspiration. Like, Pinterest is a great one. You can go and hunt around on there for patterns, and you will be in a rabbit hole for years. Seamless repeats are key in surface pattern design, right? What's your number one tip for making them work, Delores?
I think the key is planning, and I always recommend starting with quick sketches. I think it's a great way to get a feel for the layout and balance before you start going digital. So, you can do your sketches right in Procreate or wherever. You don't have to do them on paper, but it's really helpful to just kind of get the idea, just kind of roughly figure it out in your head. And I highly recommend the use of asset libraries. So if you're using Procreate, that could be assets in the form of stamp brushes. In Affinity Designer, I just have tons and tons, hundreds and hundreds of things that I've drawn as separate elements, like leaves and florals or little icons. And I can use those to mix and match and build collections really quickly. And I also suggest that you test the repeat repeatedly. So the last thing you want to do is just kind of hope for the best with a repeat. It's always good to double check it to make sure there isn't some sort of, weird open gap, or some part of it's just way too dark and some's too light, or you've somehow, got one element out of place. In Procreate, if you're going to be using Procreate, you can use the symmetry guides to create interlocking designs or reflected designs. And one of the things I suggest is to use an online pattern tester. There's a couple of them available that I really like. I use Tila Cunningham's quite a bit, and also Amanda Grace. And they have these on their sites. I think the one for Tila Cunningham is called Pattern Playground. And you can open split screen on your app, your Procreate app, and have their tester to the left side. And then you can just drag your pattern right into their tester and see the whole thing repeating. You can enlarge it, reduce it, and it really is a game changer. Those two
That's really cool.
Oh, they're such powerful tools. They're really, really amazing. Both of them, I think Tila, her husband, is a computer programmer, and what's her name, Amanda, she was a programmer or digital, I don't know, what would you call it, computer science teacher.
Oh, computer science.
And,
yeah,
and so she has they had the skills to create these apps within their websites that can be used by anybody for free. So it's really a wonderful, just way to test your patterns.
That's really cool. There was an app somewhere, I can't remember what it was. I seen it years ago, where you can actually you can put an image in it and it creates a pattern You can like adjust it and it creates and makes
Yeah,
like
like
big or
a
small. What's it called?
test. There's
Patternizer or
one called
something like that?
oh gosh, what's it called? I know that there's one called Maziograph. So a Maziograph is one where you can create patterns in that way. Whether you
Mm,
can import a picture, I don't know. But I think Repper is the one that one of my students uses. And you
mm.
can bring something in and it'll repeat the pattern in any number of different layouts. So you could choose to do half drops or even octagon kind of repeats some really amazing things. They're fun to check out for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely things you can play around with anyway. So once somebody has a few patterns they love, where's the best place to sell them, Dolores?
Well, there's lots of options and it kind of depends on what your goals are. One of the things that's easy for people to get in on and you don't have to spend a lot of money doing it is to sell on sites like Spoonflower. It's great for fabric printing, and you then earn royalties on every pattern that you sell. Society 6 and Redbubble, I think, still will allow you to create different items with repeat patterns. So you would upload your single repeat and you could use them for putting on home decor products like we were just talking about, shower curtains, pillows, but you can do phone cases, you can do stationery, coffee cups, like you name it. They have everything there that you can put your repeat patterns on. So that's kind of the one way. And I guess that's a good entry level, is to try the print on demand platforms.
Yeah,
I'd say once you have a bunch of collections under your belt, so let's say 3 or 4 really good collections, and by collections, I mean, it's got your main kind of hero pattern and a coordinate and maybe a couple of blender prints. I think that you can, at that point, create a portfolio and you can pitch that to companies that are looking for surface pattern design. So a strong portfolio should include a lot of, collections for, like I said, would be great. And then high quality mock-ups that really show off your pattern. They need to be able to imagine what it's going to look like.
yeah,
And then the other option, of course, is to sell on your own website. So if you want full control over pricing, you don't want to give up any of the money that you're making and sharing it with an agent or with a site, you can sell downloadable patterns for fabric shops. You can sell to craft businesses, paper scrapbooking companies, independent makers. If you're just starting out, print on demand sites like Spoonflower are a really great way to get that initial experience, though, before you start pitching to try to get these other types of things going. You could also set up for wholesale fabric sales. I personally haven't done this, but I know people who have done that through Spoonflower. They can then wholesale their patterns or fabrics, whatever, wallpaper, on their own websites. So that is also an option.
yeah. I didn't know that. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely an option. That's very helpful. Speaking of portfolios, how should an artist present their surface pattern designs?
Well, your portfolio is all about showcasing your best work. So you do want to keep it like really high quality. So your best work. Don't put just everything that you create. Curate your own work. Make sure that you're making a lot of impact. I think that it's really important in a portfolio to demonstrate how versatile you are. So include a mix of different things like florals, geometrics, abstract, and most importantly, I think, is keeping them organized in themed collections. Then, of course, I mentioned this earlier, is presenting your work on mock-ups. So you want to show the use of those patterns on things like fabric or wallpaper or notebooks or dresses, anything that will help clients visualize the final product. And remember, you don't need a huge portfolio to start pitching. You can use a site like Issue or Adobe Portfolio. A small but strong collection can really go a long way.
That is great advice. Let's talk about Yeah, so let's talk about staying inspired. Creative burnout is real. How do you stay inspired when designing patterns, Delores?
Well, I think one of the best things you can do is stay kind of away from social media or even Pinterest at times. If you're feeling burnout, take some time to do things like visit museums, take walks on nature trails. I have seen some gorgeous patterns at vintage markets or flea markets, and you can even take inspiration from textures in your own home. I personally like to keep a pattern journal, and part of it is on my phone. So I have a folder where I sketch or snap photos of everyday textures and colors that I love. So if I see a color scheme that I really love, I actually really had to laugh the other day. Did you see that post in the community where somebody posted a color scheme based on what I was wearing that day? Wasn't that funny?
I saved it because I thought that's a really nice color scheme. That
it really was a nice color scheme. But things like that can be really inspiring. So I don't know, just give yourself a break if you're really feeling that burnout. Just sometimes stepping away or switching the creative mediums, like instead of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, switch to something like painting or embroidery just to spark some fresh ideas. And what I do, especially when I have just a real kind of a brain fart happening, I'll take a break and create patterns like just the stripes or the repeats of like polka dots or just something really, really simple, because that can be just a break from that really hard work doing the hero patterns. So it doesn't all have to be about the hero patterns. Take a break and do some of those things that you can use as fillers in a collection.
Yeah, definitely. Before we wrap up, we want to hear from you. What's one pattern idea you'd love to see created? Drop your ideas in the comments or tag us on social media. We might even discuss a few on the next episode.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. Surface pattern design is just such an incredible way to turn your art into something marketable while reaching new audiences. And the best part is you don't have to be a professional artist to start. I've seen many people who say, I can't draw, produce fantastic patterns because it's the repetition. That's the important thing, right? It's like solving a puzzle. So experiment and have fun and let your style just evolve naturally. And remember that one pattern you create today could become someone's favorite wallpaper, fabric, or stationery.
Yes. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're excited to dive deeper into pattern design, be sure to check out Delores' courses on Affinity Designer and Procreate Foundations, where she has some projects with patterns. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and tag us if you're working on any new surface pattern designs. We'd love to see them. Until next time, keep creating, keep finding joy in the process.